As a psychologist, I really love the openness of the field. Psychology for me is not just a bunch of dead facts that we've accumulated over time. It's a way of looking at the world. And as a way of looking at the world, it provides me with flexibility and an openness of thought. So I don't know the answers to all questions about human existence, but I know how to set about looking in the right direction. I know a bit about theory. I know a bit about conflicts between theories. I know a bit about how to maybe resolve those conflicts through the collection of empirical evidence. It's made me as a person much more sensitive to actual behaviors, to what people do and not just what they say. It's made me much more able to tolerate differences between people because I realized from psychology that psychology is a diverse field and that people are very diverse in their behavior, and this makes me very tolerant. So I love the openness, the tolerance, and the flexibility that the field brings. And that's what I love to bring to my students, is this openness to new experience about human behavior. Because of this, I think of psychology not just as an academic discipline, not just a subject that you study and you put in this little pigeonhole over here, but rather as a very vibrant way of looking at the world that can enhance not just your ability to get a job, but also your ability to understand yourself, your ability to understand the people around you, your ability to get on in the world. And that is more important to me than any bit of declarative knowledge that students can learn by memorizing stuff out of a textbook. Mm-hmm. Psychology is very broad, and students often don't understand that. They think that psychology is about counseling people who are sick, being therapists. They think it's made up of lots of common sense knowledge. We already know about human behavior because we've been humans and behaving for thousands of years. They don't understand the richness of the field. So the challenge, I think, for me in teaching psychology is to open people up, not just to the idea of psychology, but to the spectacular breadth of the field. Understanding that you could even spend some time wondering how people could best live on the space station. And that's a psychological question. Understanding that improving the performance of athletes is a psychological question. Understanding that getting husbands and wives to get along better is a psychological question. That so many questions are psychological questions, and that the attitude of the psychologist of theorizing and collecting evidence and reading literature and bringing ideas together into an understanding is not just a commonsensical thing. It takes a little bit of extra work. It takes a little bit of openness to the possibility. And I think bringing students to understand the openness and to challenge their own already pre-existing beliefs about psychology is really the important key. So I love giving students challenges to understand this. And most often this is what I would call the other. So we all have our own little lives. We all have our own little understandings, and breaking us out of those understandings to see that people in different countries, or people of different orientations, or people of different ethnicities, or people of different ages are rather different than us, and appreciating the difference and understanding the difference rather than running away from it. So opening people up to the breadth and diversity of the field, and consequently the breadth and diversity of human experience is the real challenge, because people come actually remarkably foreclosed because of their past experience. And challenging their preconceptions and asking them to work past them is, I think, the nub of what students have to face when they come to study psychology. If you study psychology, especially if you get an advanced degree, but it doesn't really matter even with an undergraduate degree, if you've done it right, you've understood the breadth and openness of the field. You've understood that psychology is not answers to questions, it's a whole way of getting answers to questions. And it's broadly applicable to all of human behavior. So you've developed a skill set. You can do some statistical analysis. You can do some reading of the primary literature. You can do some theory construction. You can do some theory testing. You can apply that to the particular problem in front of you. And what this means is that you understand that you're actually able to work in a wide variety of fields. You could get a job working for a computer company, figuring out how to make their computer interface more usable for other people. That's a psychology question. You could work with elite athletes to improve their performance. Psychology. You could become a teacher and use your psychological knowledge to refine your teaching skills. You could, of course, become a psychologist and teach at a university, or become a clinical psychologist and counsel people. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. You could become a memory theorist and work in courts of law and help in jury selection or help in working through testimony. The possibilities, when you understand that you're a very powerful general thinker and problem solver, the possibilities become literally endless. And of course, there's the obvious ones, like going into any kind of human relations work, from sales to marketing to any job that requires you to interact with other people. You've got the skill set, not necessarily to be good at it right at the beginning, but to figure out how to get good at it. And that's the key, understanding that you're not somebody that's come out with the knowledge already prepackaged, but you're somebody that's got the tools to acquire the knowledge. So you may not be the best at what you do on day 1, but on day 100, you're going to be pretty good. And that's because you've understood the general power of the understanding that psychology can bring you.